Okay. There's audio there. Oh boy. As always, Twitch is being difficult. You'd think the live streaming platform would be a little better at live streams, but I guess you'd think wrong. Okay.
I'm here to pay my respects to the new Cauldron Master.
Is she here as part of some other quest? I feel like that's what would make sense. So I don't... Alright, I'll just talk, and if this is part of a different quest that I'm not doing...
You're back! Why didn't you say anything in the group chat?
What?
I'm on duty. Let's catch up
Oh,
later.
okay. Sure, why not?
Cut it out. I'm carrying out my sacred duty. Stop hanging around here and find something better to do. Once I'm done in a few days, call up Lil Gwei and Wawa, and let's grab a meal at Aurum Alley. It's been ages since we hung out. Goodbye.
Okay, she is just standing around here as part of this quest.
What do we have here?
What? Huh.
All these years, and the view at the Alchemy Commission hasn't changed a bit. The tides come and go, but the ancient sea remains the same. For us
Oh.
Vidyadhara, there's nothing more nostalgic than our homeland.
You're a Luofu native, Miss Lingsha?
Yes, I grew up here, listening to the sound of waves while researching prescriptions with my mentors and peers at the Alchemy Commission. It's kind of sad, isn't it? Everything changes, but somehow remains familiar. Just like you, Don Hung, I traveled far from home, and now I've returned. Seeing the familiar scenery brings back a hint of nostalgia.
The view here would be even better without the ambrosial arbor.
Oh, really? I think that towering tree looks pretty impressive.
Even if it's impressive, it's a plague mark. The Xianzhou have been fighting abominations for thousands of years. And now that the ambrosial arbor has been reborn, it's only natural for everyone to feel uneasy.
Well, once a seed is planted, no matter how long it takes, it'll eventually sprout and bear fruit. In my humble opinion, the rebirth of the Ambrosial Arbor and the resurgence of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus were inevitable. The seed was already planted when the ancestors of the Xianzhou sought immortality. My bad. Well, since you went through the entire Ambrosial Arbor crisis firsthand, Dan Heng and Lieutenant Yanqing, I'd like to discuss something with you.
What would you like to discuss, Miss Linksha?
I was lucky enough to be chosen by the Alliance to come in and clean up all the old grime in the Alchemy Commission. Honestly, the Alchemy Commission is riddled with problems and has reached a point where fixing it seems impossible. I'm looking to remedy this problem, but was wondering if you could provide any insights.
Well, even though I'm a Vidyadharan like you, I'm an outsider, just like my companions here. I can't really say much about a remedy, but I do have a piece of advice, Miss Lingsha. The Vidyadhara and the Alchemy Commission on the Luofu have always been intricately connected. If you cannot distance yourself from these ties, Miss Lingsha, changing the situation within the Alchemy Commission may be quite challenging.
I may not know about politics, but I do know that the disciples of Sanctus Medicus have been operating within the Alchemy Commission for years. If you're determined to root them out, maybe you should discuss it with the General.
I see. Thank you for your valuable insights. While the Lux Arrow from the Rainbow possesses unparalleled power to sever the Ambrosial Arbor, it can't sever mortals' desire to prolong their existence. Just like how the Cloud Knights can eliminate the remnants of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, but are unable to calm the hearts and minds of the people within the Alchemy Commission. Our Xianzhou forebears knew this well, and that's why they entrusted the duty of guarding the roots of the Arbor to the Vidyadhara. However, the Vidyadhara are still only mortal beings. 30 years ago, my mentor served as Alchemy Commission's Cauldron Master. She recognized the emerging undercurrents and sought to cleanse the source of the disturbance. Unfortunately, even though she was skilled in the art of healing, she didn't understand the human heart or how to eliminate the sickness lurking within the depths of the Alchemy Commission. In the end, she was framed and exiled to the Juming. I was also implicated and had to leave the Luofu. And guess who arbitrated the case and handed down the sentence? None other than General Jing Yuan himself.
What?
You heard it right. The ones responsible for the corruption in the Alchemy Commission are not just the remnants of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, but even the Divine Foresight himself. Alas, why is your face turning pale, Yanqing? Don't worry about it. I understand that when someone holds a position of power, they may sometimes have to make tough decisions. I won't hold any personal grudges against him. Besides, at our age, holding personal grudges is a luxury we can't afford.
Lingsha, you're back! Ugh, I've been waiting ages for you.
Yunli! Why aren't you with your grandpa? What brings you to the Alchemy Commission? Well, let me take this opportunity to introduce you to Yanqing.
What a small world. You stole my sword! Give it back!
Okay.
I see. Let's skip the introduction part then.
Why do I keep bumping into you? Are you stalking me or something?
Of course course not. Unlike you, Miss Yunli, I have important things to take care of. You, on the other hand, seem to have all the time in the world to wander around without returning my sword.
Grandpa used to say that a sword reflects its master. I talked to your sword, and it told me that you've been distracted. You hesitate when you should strike, and you struggle to stay calm when your sword is unsheathed. Now that I see you again, I realize your sword was right. It wasn't me who took your sword. It was you who lost focus.
Do you really expect me to believe that nonsense? I've been taking it easy on you because you're a guest from the Juming, but you're not taking the hint. Don't people from the Juming know you're supposed to return what you've borrowed?
Just look at this flying sword. Even if I gave it back to you now, it'd just be taken away again in a few hours.
I'm doing pretty well. And yourself? Just working my way through a new update in a game. Welcome to the stream, by the way.
You know the Cloud Knight saying, a Cloud Knight must never let slip their weapon. Yes? Well, sure, I can give it back to you now, but on the battlefield, that's a whole different story. Poor flying sword.
Fine! You don't have to give it back, because I'll take it back myself!
Between these two, who do you think is tougher? Don't get me wrong, I'm just curious.
So how'd you come across my obscure stream that I'm always shocked to have anyone find?
Get ready to separate them.
It is my first day at the Alchemy Commission. A brawl is definitely not how I imagined celebrating it.
Well, since you don't approve, I won't draw my sword here.
I didn't mean it in that way. Since you've already drawn your swords, you'd be disappointed if you didn't get to test one another, right? I've received reports that the delves near the Alchemy Commission are still infested with abominations. Seems like my predecessors left quite a mess. So, if you two want to determine who's better, why not focus on them instead of each other?
Well, I'm always happy to have someone join. I tend to be a pretty dull. I tend to be pretty dull when I don't have anyone to talk to.
Clearing out some abominations? Sounds boring.
It's the Cloud Knight's duty to eliminate those abominations. You don't have to ask me twice, Miss Lingsha. I'll help you get rid of them.
Oh, you think you're the only one who knows how to behave? If Lingsha needs anything, I'll gladly draw my sword and help her out.
It's so heartwarming to see both of you being so sweet and caring. So then, shall we get going? Ever since the disciples of Sanctus Medicus were eradicated, their experimental abominations have been festering here. If you want a contest, I'll be the referee. The one who kills the most abominations within an hour wins.
Yeah, I just tend to struggle to think of anything to say if there's no one there to talk back and forth with.
Lingsha, as always, you're still an expert in making unpaid work sound so noble and grand.
A lot of the time I have one of my cousins in a voice chat with me to talk to, and that'll probably be the case a little later. But for now, here I am. On my own till you joined in.
It's for your own good, little Yunli. While you desire to compete against each other, I don't want to see either of you getting hurt.
That's really thoughtful of you, Cauldron Master.
So, are you both ready?
So do you play Star Rail, or did you just happen to see the stream and something about it catch your eye?
Ugh. Looks like my predecessors left quite a mess. Let me say it again. The one who kills the most abominations within an hour wins. Be careful when you draw your swords, and make sure you don't hurt each other.
Can we start now, Lingsha? Time for some sword play!
This is certainly interesting. The game has screwed my team up quite a bit.
Strike with heart!
I want to protect everyone too. Help me, Mr. Sora!
I'll melt it all down.
Okay.
Run, mountains fall! Rock shattering slash!
I think I might need to change my team up.
Target threat index lowered. Hide.
So, how many of my moves can you block?
It descends with might! Eradicate!
She wields her sword with ease. You shouldn't underestimate her.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to rearrange my team if I'm gonna get anywhere with this. Okay. Actually,
Time for a buzz.
Blade in flight!
it's definitely a pretty fun game.
Don't move, okay?
Time for some sword play!
Technically, you can pick it up on your phone if you wanted to do that,
Everything came together.
depending on, I guess, on what kind of phone you have.
As one! Huh. More enemies.
I'm not generally a huge fan of playing games on my phone myself, though, so I usually only do that for if I need to farm resources. I play on PC for the most part. Some other games I play on a console, though.
It descends with might! Eradicate!
She wields her sword with ease. You shouldn't underestimate her.
But this game I play on PC. That makes sense. I knew a pretty long time ago that I wanted to have a pretty beefy PC, because in addition to games...
Let's finish this.
In addition to games, I do, or at least try to do, a lot of, like, programming projects. And those can be pretty hard on the PC.
So, how many of my moves can you block?
Executing attack.
Like fireflies to a flame, life begets death. I will fight for myself until everything burns to ashes! Live to fight! Fight to live! I didn't expect someone who can't even hold on to his sword to actually have some skill. I shall set the seas ablaze!
Looks like I've got a winning hand.
Eternal melody. Attack detected. Live to fight! Fight to live!
I've always been interested in trying to take up illustration and animation, but in the end I just don't usually have the patience for it as much as I'd like to.
Clouds, cleave the path! I shall set the seas ablaze! Live to fight! Fight to live!
Looks like I've got a winning hand.
So, how many of my moves can you block?
Pay attention.
Recalibrating. I shall set the seas ablaze!
There was a point in time,
Time for
a
some
long
swordplay.
while ago, where I'd be lying if I said good, but I was at the very least decent at, like,
In flight!
traditional, like, pencil and paper hand drawing.
Clouds,
But I just got really out of practice and haven't had the chance to really pick it back up, unfortunately.
I'll call your bet. Don't ask, just spend.
Joining the battle. Prime detonate.
like fireflies to I will fight for myself until everything burns to ashes! Live to fight! Fight to live! I shall set the seas ablaze!
A picture of grace and elegance. You'll do.
myself. Live to fight! Fight you live!
Beach, 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 beach.
Well then. Is that how you greet your favorite cousin?
You know what? Yes.
You got lucky.
Why don't you just give me back my sword?
And only my favorite
sincerely
cousin.
apologize, and then go cry your eyes out to your grandpa.
How are you?
Consider yourself lucky that I'm not
tired,
interested in your rusty sword.
but
'Cause I don't have the
that's kinda
nasty
just the
habit of
standard for the
snatching
end of a
other
work
people's
day.
weapons.
End of a work week.
Or that too, yeah. Lucky not to have sunburn.
Oh yeah. How much were you? How much were you outside today?
A lot.
Yeah.
That's... If I say things that don't make sense, I do have someone in my chat, so...
I know. I'm looking.
That's all...
Oh my gosh. I was waiting on that.
Yeah, so was I.
Ridiculous. Also, I just eating Oreos, so I'm gonna grab some milk because I forgot that, and that's essential.
How could you?
I know.
Showing up just to wander off?
Yes. I'll be right back.
All you did was chop down a few monsters. Don't get carried away with yourself. If you think you can just take this sword from my hand,
All he
Go
did
ahead
was make it a
and
lot
try.
harder for me to chop down the monsters.
Well fought, my young friends. However, both of you have shortcomings. One of you focuses on dodging and weaving, while the other relies on brute strength, trying to take down targets with a single strike.
who are you?
Me? I'm just a patient seeking medicine from the Alchemy Commission. A passerby, if you will.
Sure you
I
are.
thought I'd see my fill of impressive fights during the war dance. Yet here I am, able to witness a remarkable fight at the Alchemy Commission, of all places. Well, the Lawfu is never short of surprises. However, I have a small suggestion for you. Why don't you settle this dispute fair and square in the war dance's ring? That way, you can resolve your differences with a proper duel and put your grudges behind you.
Grudges? No, not at all. Yunli and I, we were just sparring.
Sparring? You summoned your flying swords and she swung her sword with full strength. No grudges between you. I don't believe it.
Actually, third. The second person just got banned
What
seconds
brings
ago.
you here, Lady Feishao? Have you finished your health consultation with the dragon?
He was the third, if you count the bot.
Xiao?
That's what I just said.
Grandpa always talks
I'm
about
relatively certain it was not a bot. I'm relatively certain it was an actual person, but still pretty directly broke the rules I have right where people can't start chatting without agreeing to. You missed a cutscene, and unlike Zenless, this game doesn't let me replay them.
The Merlin's Claw of the Xianzhou Yao Qing?
That's okay. I'm kind of lost on the
Looks like I'm
storyline
quite
anyway.
famous on the Xianzhou Luofu too.
This woman, not this one,
Everyone
the
has heard of
white-haired
General.
fox woman that's
Known
been
to all,
talking,
and unbeknown
is
to
the
none.
one that
Oh,
you
is that the one?
that we were talking about
Great General.
yesterday.
Isn't that title a bit too
That
narcissistic?
other two people were talking about.
It's actually not raining here. For
It's
once.
not raining here either.
Well, I should hope not.
Why?
Because there'd be no. I guess we do have different weather.
Yeah, it's
I mean, like
not
we're
at
close
all.
enough to where.
It's not at all unlikely to have rain. It can literally not be raining here and not be raining the next exit up.
Just very true.
Good old Georgia weather is weird like that.
Yeah, sorry.
It could not be raining here and be raining on the interstate.
Honestly. So did she just show up? Did she have a good reason for not being around?
There's a dancing general on the Luofu, so I came up with a humble nickname for myself. The Lacking General. Lacking in worries, regrets, and rivals.
We still have no reasons as to why she only just showed up. Or as to why she
Besides
wasn't
lacking.
around before. What I can do real quick is use YouTube to replay the cutscene that the game won't let me do, so that you can see when and why she showed up.
How are you, Arkar? I'm eating something cold, so my tongue is being weird. How are you, Okara? On your rainy Friday night. I swear this dog knows whenever I get comfortable.
Sounds about right.
Right, well. I might be away for just a moment.
How could you?
Yeah, blame Daisy, alright? It's like there's not other people living here. It's ridiculous. Ugh.
Well, since Nisala is no longer here for you to answer, how are you doing, Okara? And also, did you also miss the cutscene right before this dialogue like she did? That's not good. There we go. No worries. I am currently working on trying to bring it up onto the stream where someone can see it. Yeah, there we go. There may or may not have been a split second there when my Twitch mod view was visible on the stream. Hopefully that's not a problem of any kind. Alright, I'll hide this for now. And just keep going with this until she's back.
Sounds much better, right?
Wait, what sounds better?
Yeah, that's a befitting title that sounds both humble and impressive. Now that the sparring session is over, Yanqing and Yunli, shouldn't you politely thank General Fei Xiao for her guidance and bury the hatchet?
Here's your sword. Keep it safe. Or it might get taken away again. By the way, we haven't settled the score yet. I'll defeat you fair and square next time we fight.
This is how she apologizes? Now that I finally got my sword back, I should report to the seat of divine foresight. I'll take my leave, General Fei Xiao. Oh, by the way, Miss Linksha, if you've got some free time, I'd like to invite you to the seat of divine foresight for a chat with General Jing Yuan. I think there's more to those personal grudges you mentioned earlier.
Thanks for stepping in, General Fei Xiao. Otherwise, I'd have had to knock them out with my incense.
So, I forget, Okara. I feel like you said one way or another. Do you play Star Rail?
Not at all. Just doing what you asked. How about we call it even as payment for the healer lady's consultation?
Sorry, but even a general needs to pay their bills. We don't do credit here. And let's not forget, you'd have been waiting decades for a chance to see the Dragon Lady if it weren't for me.
Well, you can always send the bill to the seat of divine foresight and say it's for mentoring those kids. After all, it was quite the effort splitting them up. I nearly had to get tough. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to find a spot and get some fresh air. Back already? You've met with Jing Yuan and wandered around for a few hours. So, what do you think?
It appears that the Divine Foresight is using this war dance as a show of strength to convince everyone that the Luofu is prospering after the Ambrosial Arbor
Well, now that I'm
crisis.
sure I've missed like 3 other cutscenes, how's the game going?
There was no other
Okay.
cutscene, just Fei Xiao talking about how she doesn't want to pay for her medical visit.
What? Who is that?
The white-haired fox lady is Fei Xiao.
Why did,
She,
so why does, I'm
she
confused.
apparently the reason she wasn't at the meeting was because she was visiting one of the other playable characters, basically, who is
Okay.
a physician.
Well, if she went, she should pay for it.
I say that she like made a joke about, oh, we'll just call, well, let me play the cutscene first, and then I'll explain. Because
Okay.
the joke she made was about something to do with the cutscene.
Okay.
Where did Discord disappear to? Actually, yeah.
Is this what's on your screen right now?
The YouTube
Yeah.
video for the cutscene should be on the stream at the moment, because Okara also missed it.
Oh, okay.
If I can... But actually... Oh, I should just be able to mute the game if I can find it. There's no game audio on the stream now, right?
Let me check.
Or I can all...
No.
No game audio. Good. That
well
was the
fought,
cutscene.
my
you
young
missed.
friends.
So why did she have to break it up?
Because the two of them shouldn't be fighting in a public space.
That is very true. Although, you know, I think it's funny when she broke it up, the sources went willy-nilly everywhere. I'm like, oh, hope you weren't a pedestrian just standing there like a little
Yeah.
sword flying by your face.
But she, like, what I was saying before though is she made a joke about breaking the two of them, breaking their fight up being how she pays for her medical bill. Because technically the person she visited technically falls under the jurisdiction of the of Lingsha, the girl with the who for some reason her hands and legs are bright red. You remember from last time?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
But the influx of people attending the war dance is like a breeding ground for disorder and rumors. One wrong move,
And I will.
Luofu could be in a world of chaos.
I'll put the stream or the game on
The
Discord
Cloud
as
Knights on
well,
the streets remain
in case you
vigilant.
want to
So
be
at the
able to
very
hear its
least,
audio
General
without
Jing Yuan is aware of this.
hearing me doubled
As
up.
for other matters, I'm unable to say.
I'd prefer to be excused from future meetings with generals. I'm just a military healer. And now all of a sudden I'm thrust onto the center stage having cordial chats with two generals?
My work doesn't lend itself to being in the limelight either.
Okay,
Just
Mr.
stop
Spooky Boo.
whining. At least you're in one piece, right? Before getting in touch with General Jing Yuan, I wanted to put aside my assumptions and see his momentum. That includes the overall bearing of the Cloud Knights on the street, what people are saying, and how those close to him behave.
The might of an army dwells not within its pawns, but within the force of its collective momentum. Recognizing this fact reveals the true measure of power. Thanks for enlightening me, General.
A perfectly clear statement turned confusing thanks to your translation. You've made me lose where I was now. Anyway, this is how I operate in battle, so you might as well get used to it.
Are you treating General Jing Yuan as your enemy?
The longest-serving general of the Xianzhou Luofu. Do you think he'd have only a few enemies?
By the way, General, You met the healer lady, yes? Could you show me the medicine she prescribed you?
Well, the healer lady couldn't do anything about my condition. She just told me to enjoy some tasty food.
That sounds like her.
That's great advice.
So not even the famed healer lady could help? Don't worry. I'll fulfill my promise and find a way to cure you. Actually, I've found some leads.
Well, life and death, Jiao Cho. It's all predetermined. Upon starting my military career, I made a pledge that the rest of my life would be dedicated to being the Xianzhou spearhead, hunting down the abominations of abundance till the end of my days. As long as I can fulfill that deep-seated desire, I don't care how long I live. You asked if I view General Jin Yuan as my enemy. No. My real enemy has always been myself.
Enjoy some tasty food. So, what's for dinner tonight?
Jeez. You really know how to read the room, don't you?
You guys figure it out for yourselves. I'm due to catch up with an old war friend I've not seen for quite a long time.
So,
I love how your name is just always caps.
Hey! Was that the Yao Qing general?
as much as possible, yeah.
Oh, she's so awesome.
There are some games that will just automatically either set it all to lowercase or set it to just the first letter capitalized, and I'm always annoyed whenever it happens. So in addition to probably being one of the 2 5-stars for next update, Fei Xiao is apparently also going to be either, I don't remember if it's part of this update or next, but apparently she's going to be one of the game's, like, added as one of the game's weekly bosses.
Oh. Interesting.
So I've heard. I don't know what the actual source of that is, so it could not be the case.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, like, leaks for these games that are leaks that are only 1 or 2 updates out tend to be pretty reliable for these games.
Okay.
I mean, when Yun Li swung that massive sword, she just casually blocked her attack with ease.
Mine too.
Yeah. But to go up against Yun Li is quite impressive, you know? That aura of heroism and grace. It almost makes
March
me
being
wanna learn
completely
Xianzhou
oblivious
swordplay.
yet again.
You think so too, right?
I agree. General Fei Xiao is indeed impressive.
I was actually hoping you'd give Yanqing some praise.
Thanks for the kind words, Miss March. The war dance is coming up, and I've been chosen to represent the Cloud Knights in the ceremony. I've had my fair share of defeats lately, and even though I know there are always more skilled swordmasters out there, seeing General Fei Xiao's skills today has made me feel a bit uneasy again.
So one thing I will say, like, I talk bad about Yanqing a lot, about him, like, thinking he's way stronger than he is. I will say, like, within the canon of the game, he is very, very young and exceptional for his age. He keeps losing mostly because he keeps going up against seasoned warriors with massively more experience than he has.
Right.
Like,
That makes a big difference.
it's pretty much directly stated the fact that he's even good enough to have survived an attack from one of them is, like, makes him exceptional.
Oh.
Don't underestimate yourself. After all, generals won't fight in the ring during the war dance. Just remember the state of mind you had when you single-handedly took on me and Blade, putting life and death aside. With that mindset, you can prevail against most challengers.
I see. Thanks for the advice, Master Dan Heng. By the way, now that today's events are over, General Jing Yuan wants to invite all of you to the Seat of Divine Foresight. He has something important to discuss.
I bet it's about how to deal with the generals from the Yao Qing and the Zhu Ming.
I really don't want to get caught up in grown-up games so soon. I just hope Generals Fei Xiao and Hua Yan can see the truth. We don't need any more chaos on the Luofu before the war dance.
Oh, one other thing that I'm pretty sure you missed. So, a little bit of background to help this make a little more sense. So, I guess the civilization in this area is... I'm trying to think how to put it. Like, the place is referred to, like, this area. Like, the entire... That's not the map. So, like, you remember, like, the previous story chapter where I started live streaming halfway through was on Penacony. And then I've also mentioned, or I guess Belobog is the city, but, like, Belobog is a city on one of the other planets in the game. The Xianzhou is technically, or the Luofu is a ship belonging to the Xianzhou. The Xianzhou being, like, I guess a civilization, kind of.
Yeah.
As a point of reference, though, understand this story chapter takes place on a spaceship called the Luofu that is so massive that it has a sky and a giant tree and that grows in it.
Oh, shoot. It's crazy they have a sky.
But, like, Jing Yuan, the blonde guy from the last live stream, whose hair covers one of his eyes, is basically the, like, leader of this ship. And then the little guy with the hat that he was talking to is the leader of one of the other ships, and Fei Xiao is the leader of another one of the other ships.
Okay.
That's why those three are, like, super important characters for this story chapter. And now in the process of explaining this background, I've completely forgotten why I was doing so.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, it's my own fault. What was it? Something to do with...
Cultured people love
You'd be a tool to
Need
miss
your
it.
extractor clean to your Starscape service.
Was it something to do with Yanqing, I think? Or with Jing Yuan?
I don't believe in ghosts.
Well, a different thing that I had been meaning to explain, but kept not finding the opportunity. The Xianzhou is home to 3 different races. One of them are, I think, generally referred to as Xianzhou natives. They are humans that were granted some sort of blessing of immortality. But because this is how fiction and writing works, the blessing turned out to be a curse. And technically they are immortal in that they will not die of old age. But if they live for long enough, they'll turn into kinda monsters and, like, lose their ability to think coherently.
Wait, and who is this again?
The humans of the Xianzhou, basically.
Oh, okay.
They're generally referred to just as the Xianzhou natives.
Okay.
Like, Yanqing and Jing Yuan and Yunli are all part of this race. So, functionally speaking, they have, like, technically, they don't die of old age. But functionally speaking, they have a lifespan of about 800 years before they just go insane, pretty much, and turn into monsters. Then there are the Vidyadhra, which are the dragon people I mentioned before that Dan Heng is one of. Their lifespans, I think, are more variable, but also, if they die of old age, they just, like, go through a rebirth, so they don't really feasibly die of old age in a normal sense. But typically, they won't really remember any of their previous lives after a rebirth, so it is functionally like dying.
Because he was a,
He was, like, the High
Anomaly
Elder
to
of the Vidyadhra, and then committed a crime, so they forced him to be reborn.
How did they force that? Did they just kill him?
No, there's some specific detail to it that I don't know because I didn't.
Like a ritual in a way?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And then there's the Foxians, which are the fox people that you see around. They have a lifespan of around 300 years, I mean.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, like, this is insane, too, because, like, there's some in-game document you can find that explains that apparently when they reach the end of their lifespan, just all of the sudden, over the course of about a week, their organs just all fail. That's how they die of old age. They don't just, like, age naturally and die. It's, they live about 300 to 400 years, and then their organs just all fail out of nowhere with hardly any warning.
Good grief. Alright.
Yeah. Right. Explaining all that, though, did remind me what I was actually getting at before. So, Lingsha is a Vidyadhra, so one of the dragon people, which explains why I thought she seemed kind of snaky in terms of visual design. That's actually something else I want to get back to. But apparently, like, the ship that this is taking place on is the Luofu. That's also the ship that, like, Chapter 3 of the game's story occurred on. Which is where I stopped live streaming because it was kinda not as good as Chapter 2 had been. Like, it's where I originally stopped live streaming and then, like, got through the first chapter of Penacony before starting back.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, Lingsha was a native to the Luofu specifically, but was somehow or another implicated in a crime that she says her teacher was framed for, but we only have her word to go on that her teacher was framed, and was exiled from it, and only recently was allowed back on.
Interesting.
And that's all the information we have so far, because all we have is she mentioned it in passing a little earlier, like right before you joined.
Oh, okay.
But another interesting thing about her, and unfortunately we don't actually have her model to compare because she's not playable yet.
Right.
But, so, Dan Heng has two completely separate playable versions in this game. There's the one you've been seeing, which is like a 4-star that you get for free at the beginning of the game. And then there is this one, which is him like at full power when he like regains his power as the High Elder.
Right.
And you can't actually see his unless one of his idle animations plays, and I don't think it will in in preview mode. But he and Lingsha are, to the best of my memory, the only two Vidyadhra seen anywhere in the game. Actually, no, there is one other whose like dragon characteristics are really clearly visible. The other being this one. You can see she has like horns and a tail.
Yeah.
but like it's just like a handful of others you see throughout the game have visible horns, but I don't think any of the others have visible tails. And Lingsha is the only one I've seen who has like visible scales on her skin.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Cultured people love visiting here.
But like I said, occasionally you'll notice one with horns, but most of the time you can only tell them apart from the Xianzhou people by their having pointed ears.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Get your extractor cleaned or your starscape serviced.
I don't believe in
But yeah, considering how fun of a character Lingsha has been so far, just as a character, I sure hope they don't do the same thing they did with the last character, Xianzhou character I really liked, where she appears for one story chapter and then is never appears again, basically.
What is your
That would
purpose
sure
for
be
entering
disappointing.
The seat of divine foresight?
Yeah.
I say that. I also do really like Jing Yuan, and he appears in the story, like, constantly. Even in chapters where it doesn't make a lot of sense for him to.
Well, yeah.
Earlier at the Palace of Astral, I introduced these guests from the Astral Express to you, Elder Huayan. But with all the people around, we only exchanged pleasantries. Now, I'd like to officially introduce them to you. These three braved great dangers, accompanying me to perilous places, defeating the chief culprit Vantilia, and uncovering the conspiracies of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus. If you wish to know more, please, feel free to ask us.
Well, I skimmed through the reports about the Arbor's rebirth from the Master Diviner Fu Xuan. She's been summoned to the Yuchui for questioning. There are a lot of doubts within the Alliance about this whole situation.
I will also say, since they're referencing previous story chapters a lot, if you want to ask me anything, feel free.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure nothing makes any level of sense at all.
No, out of the games you play, I probably, like, am so lost with this one.
In you. Since you joined the ranks, you have repeatedly achieved remarkable feats. After the High Cloud Quintet each went their separate ways, despite the many criticisms within the Alliance, the Marshal still stood firm against the dissenting voices and entrusted the Luofu to you. Over the years, you've served the Alliance with loyalty and wisdom. You've taken down abominations in Thalassa, rescued the Xianzhou Yuchui from a siege, and destroyed the demonic planet summoned by the denizens of abundance. I still remember those battles vividly. There are fools who doubt your loyalty. They're happy to see the divine foresight fail because it gives them some kind of sick satisfaction. They haven't achieved anything of their own, so they feed off the failures of others.
A quick addition too. This is ages and ages ago, back one of the other times I streamed Star Rail, so I totally get if the answer is no. But do you remember when I was talking a while back about the eons in this game? Like, functionally gods? Like how, Acheron is, like, the emanator of the Eon of Nihility?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, the immortality curse that the Xianzhou people have came from the Eon of Abundance. So when they refer to the abundance, that's what they're talking about. They basically consider the Eon of Abundance and everyone who follows it to be their, like, ancestral enemy.
Interesting.
But I've seen enough failures in my time, and I want to believe that your loyalty has never wavered.
I guess it's more accurate to call his hair
Xiao
white than
Fiaoqing
blonde.
is the only one investigating the Ambrosial Arbor crisis on behalf of the Alliance?
I said I guess it's more accurate to call his hair white than blonde.
Yeah.
No. I am too.
This old man's words always catch me off guard.
The Marshal ordered me to come to the Xianzhou Laofu, but the document only says, attend the war dance and listen to Fei Shao's questioning. No need for that. You're all important witnesses. The Marshal is well aware of Jing Yuan's purpose in holding the ceremony, and understands the situation he is facing. She mentioned it because she believes both issues are important.
Thanks for your kindness and sincerity, Elder Huayan. But is it appropriate to tell everyone here about the Marshal's orders?
By introducing the Express's witnesses to me alone, aren't you aiming to discern the intentions behind both my actions and Fei Shao's? And whether there's any discord between us?
He's a shrewd old man.
Since I'm being open and honest with you, I encourage you young folk to do the same. As for the Ambrosial Arbor crisis, all I need to do is listen. General Fei Shao will be the one asking the questions. To be honest, I'm more concerned about the timely start of the war dance. Oh, by the way, I've prepared a gift for the war dance.
Nice. You go talk to yourself?
Apparently not.
Oh, no, yeah. One second. You're back.
Yes, it's this case right here. There will be numerous contests and celebrations during the war dance, and the main event will be the Ringmaster's Challenge. The host will dispatch a skilled warrior to take on challengers from all over the cosmos, showcasing the excellent martial arts of the Xianzhou Laofu. When you mentioned that the Astral Express would be attending the ceremony, I thought the High Elder of the Laofu would be the Ringmaster.
You humor me, Elder Huayan. The healer lady is just a young lady who knows nothing about martial arts. How can I assign her as the ringmaster?
I'm no match to you when it comes to joking.
What's this box for? Why don't you open it, General Huayan?
This sword case is intended for the War Dance's award. It's empty now, but in a few days, a precious sword will be delivered and stored inside. I don't mean to boast about our skills, but this sword represents the pinnacle of the Zhu-Ming's craftsmanship. It has a legendary history, full of heroic tales from foreign lands, tales that are too detailed to be summarized in just a few words. Since the delegation delivering the sword hasn't arrived yet, I'll just leave the case here for now. I've been wondering who would be worthy of such a sword. And then it hit me. I can award it to the champion of the Ringmasters Challenge. The ceremony's champion is sure to be a perfect match for the sword. Moreover, I hear that Yanqing is an excellent swordmaster, and that he will be representing the Luofu as the Ringmaster, so it seems like a perfect gift for him.
Thank you for your generosity, Elder Huayan.
If you want to give me a sword, just say the word, Grandpa. No need to beat around the bush.
You've got confidence, my girl, but I don't think you can best Yanqing.
I know you're all about swords, Miss Yunli. It's just a shame that it's the sword that ultimately chooses its rightful master.
Yeah, and even if someone gets their hands on such a precious sword, it'll probably end up in someone else's.
The outcome of our duel at the Alchemy Commission is still up in the air. Since you're interested, why don't you represent the Xianzhou Jiming and challenge me in the ring?
That's exactly what I had in mind. Nobody knows who's gonna come out on top. It could be me, could be someone else. It'll probably be me. But whatever happens, it won't be him.
Not to be rude or anything, we've been watching their drama. I'm dying to find out who beats who.
Quiet down. We have other guests here. I've prepared this sword to add some excitement to the ceremony, not to have you two squabble. It's not a good look for the Alliance. While you both seem confident that you'll win, you need to remember there can only be one winner and one loser in the ring, which could lead to hard feelings. Actually, I have an idea. We don't know who the winner will be, and it might not be either of you. But if you're eyeing that prize, you'll need to work together. I want you to take on an apprentice who will take part in the war dance and win at least one match.
How does that make sense?
What?
Is the war dance just like sword fights?
From what people have said, it seems to me like, yeah, it's like a sword fighting tournament kind of thing.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion, while a Cloud Knight is commendable by securing victories, it's even more so to pass on your skills and spread the way of swordplay. I'd be greatly pleased if this apprentice could represent the Express in the war dance by displaying their Cloud Knight flair and prowess.
Well, Elder Huayan's idea is quite interesting. Imparting swordplay skills requires teamwork, and both the winner and the loser will learn a valuable lesson regardless of the outcome. The question is, whom should the two of them take as an apprentice?
Huh? Who? Wait, me?
I noticed just now that Miss March seemed quite interested in the outcome of your sword fight. So I thought, why not teach her the art of swordplay?
Wait, are you serious, General? Why am I being dragged into this all of a sudden? I've never practiced swordplay before. I'm a total newbie. You really think I can learn it? Well, you'll probably realize I have no hope and give up on me. And that'd be so embarrassing.
Isn't this a
Can't
perfect
doubt
chance
her
for
from
you?
realize she's a
I remember
master
you mentioning that
swordsman.
you wanted to learn some sword moves.
Okay. I'd love for him to have more voiced lines. Why is this one line voiced?
With
No
the
other...
word you mentioned?
None of the other main characters' lines have been voiced in this quest so far. Up until this very second.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even realize it was your character at first.
It took me a second as well.
did say that. But this is all happening so quickly, don't you think?
Miss March is like a piece of jade in the rough, just waiting to be shaped. The war dance is the perfect opportunity to see what heights she can reach.
I appreciate your kind words, General YN. But won't teaching me swordplay be a waste of Yanqing and Yunli's time? They should be preparing for the ceremony. Plus, I heard that each swordmaster has their own special moves. What if they let something slip while teaching me? If everyone knows each other's tactics, won't that make it hard to catch people off guard during the war dance?
That's considerate of you, March 7th. But don't worry. It'll take you at least a decade of hard training before you can even start learning special moves. No need to freak out. A few Juming swordplay tricks will mean you'll be more than equipped.
Really?
Looks like March's curiosity has been piqued.
The whole point is to know each other's moves. Defeating your opponent in just one move? How boring would that be? Plus, what really decides a swordsman's fate isn't some special move. It's the solid fundamentals.
So Miss Yunli has already agreed. What do you say, Yanqing?
General, I haven't graduated yet. How can I be qualified to teach swordplay to others?
So you're admitting your defeat, huh? If you're not even competent
That's
to
what he
teach,
said.
why don't you let me be the ringmaster instead?
Yanqing, teaching an apprentice is also a way of honing your own skills and gaining insights. You've been an apprentice for years. It's about time you looked at swordplay from another perspective.
I see, General. Then count me in.
Now that Yanqing has agreed too, it all comes down to Miss March giving her nod.
It's up to you to make the final decision, March.
At least that way, I won't have to worry about you accidentally shooting me in the butt all the time.
Hey,
Nice.
I've never missed my target. Then I'm on board. Thank you for your kindness, General YN.
Great! Starting tomorrow, Yanqing and Yunli will teach you the basics of the Cloud Knight's swordplay. Yunli and I will head out and purchase some sword practice equipment for Miss March. Think of it as a little initiation gift.
You're too kind. Wait, you're giving me a gift? Shouldn't it be the other way around? General YN's gone. Wait, why does something feel off about what we talked about? I think we strayed off topic. How did things even get to this point?
Yeah, I brought you here because the General said he had some important matters to discuss. But how in the world did Yunli and I suddenly become Miss March's swordplay mentors?
Because General Huayan wants us to stick around on the Luofu for some time. But from his point of view, we're no different from all the other tourists who may leave at any time. Since the crew's actions were mentioned in the Luofu's operations log were given to the Alliance, he probably wants to see firsthand if we're as capable as the report claims, or if we're just some made-up excuse to save face. And he wants to see it for himself during the war dance, which is why he even dragged Yunli into this. What began as a simple contest between two sword masters has now evolved into you two collaborating to mentor March.
Elder Huayan is still that tricky general who likes to give everyone a headache. My apologies. Truth be told, I invited all of you to the ceremony because I wished for you to act as my witnesses. I apologize for not disclosing this information earlier. In the coming weeks, I'll also invite all of you to a meeting with General Fei Xiao, where you may need to answer her questions and clear up any doubts she might have. So please, be prepared for the meeting.
Don't worry, General. No matter what happens, I'm prepared to stay here as the Express's witness and answer any questions.
Thank you, everyone.
General, I know there isn't much I can do to share your burden, but... As the Luofu Ringmaster, I won't let anyone defeat me in the war dance.
I know.
The illustrious Merlin's Claw waiting for me? And for so long, too? It's quite an honor. It's been a while, General Fei Xiao.
It's been 30 years since we last saw each other. Right, Yukong?
Yes. Back then, you were the vanguard of the Yao Qing's Verdant Knights, and I was a pilot of the Luofu's Rainbow Orbit Fleet. Who would have thought that upon meeting again, you'd be a general, and I'd have given up flying? Really does feel like a lifetime ago. Well, I wouldn't say I haven't seen you in 30 years. After all, your great victories are announced through the Yellow Bell resonance system every day. So I'm well aware of your great feats. How's your health holding up?
Still stable, I suppose. Do you still remember the medic who saved me in battle?
That healer with the odd name and peculiar temperament. What was his name again? Was it Pichu? Or Kachio?
Jiao Cho. He's been my retainer and personal healer, delegated by the Alchemy Commission from the Xianzhou Yao Qing. Over the years, he's dedicated himself to managing my condition. It's thanks to him that I'm still in good health today. Given my background, I'm happy to have made it this far.
I'm relieved to know that you're safe and sound. Well then, since you and Elder Huayan are here, I imagine you must have received orders from the Marshal? As your friend, may I ask how the Alliance intends to punish the General of the Luofu?
The Arbor's rebirth has frightened the elders who lurk behind the scenes. They fear the resurgence of abominations, much like what happened 30 years ago. Although the report from the Luofu explained all the details, we don't know if the Ruin Legion really invaded, or how exactly the Stellaron Hunters and the Astral Express became involved. This puzzle has many missing pieces. As you know, the fugitive Jing Liu, who mysteriously disappeared many years ago, has resurfaced. This time, she has brought along an Outworlder and a coffin, claiming to offer the Marshal a method to fight against the Eons. The Luofu Preceptor has also leveled accusations against Jing Yuan for neglecting the Alliance's principles. She asserts that Jing Yuan enabled the exiled Imbibitor Lunae to re-enter the Luofu, thereby unlocking the lunarescent depths within Scale Gorge Waterscape, which in turn disrupted the Vidyadhara's dutiful watch over the Ambrosial Arbor. It is for these reasons that I have come here to the Luofu today. Well, duty calls. Perhaps I shouldn't have mentioned all of this to an uninvolved person, but since we once fought together, I didn't want to keep you in the dark. Perhaps pretending you didn't hear any of this would be for the best.
I understand. I'm sorry. I was out of line. I know I shouldn't be defending General Jing Yuan right now, but... well, you know how I am. The Law Fu has enjoyed centuries of stability since the end of the sedition of Imbibitor Lunae, much of which can be attributed to General Jing Yuan's masterful strategizing. Unfortunately, for long-life species, enduring through the ages always culminates in a failure that undoes all previous achievements. A moment that our adversaries relish.
That's true. And that's why I'm also here for another purpose. To visit Hule.
So, real quick, when any character refers to Imbibitor Lunae, they're talking about Dan Heng. That was his title as the High Elder before he was forced to be reborn.
Okay.
Hule?
Wait,
you mean that
is this the person he tried to res?
No. I will come back to.
In the shackling prison.
Okay.
I will come back to that once I'm not in a dialogue, because that's something I actually meant to mention.
Oh, this is the Dawn?
nemesis of the Foxians
The what?
who will never be forgiven and shall be imprisoned until the end of the cosmos.
One second.
I can't quite remember the exact wording, but yes, the very same Hule.
Usually, only emissaries from the Xianzhou Yaoqing Skyfaring Commission visit him once every century. Why do you have to visit him now, of all times?
The Foxians and the Alliance made a pact to combat the abominations, aiming to achieve justice and free their kin. That werewolf monster is to be forever imprisoned in the dark recesses of the shackling prison, facing unending retribution. Given the situation on the Luofu, those on the Yaoqing are concerned about Hule's imprisonment. I'm afraid that the routine visit every century is no longer sufficient to ease their concerns. That's why I was sent here, to reassure them.
It's all bad news.
Well, not everything. There might be a silver lining. Oh, by the way, I found some clues about the thing you asked for.
Tell me more.
The Verdant Knights followed the route you mentioned and discovered the wreckage of the Whistling Flame ship. Unfortunately, there were no survivors and no cargo. However, someone had already been on the scene before we arrived.
Our people? Or someone from the IPC?
No, neither. You come. Have you heard of a person named Ron May?
I'm still feeling sleepy.
Did I oversleep? Where did March and Dan Heng go?
This humble abode welcomes you, while drizzle dashes dust.
money got nicked by another thief?
Hmm.
When it first opened, the Petrichor Inn...
I wonder if there's an event for Intellitron's swordplay.
Okay. So
I think my questions were answered with the rest of the cutscene. I just needed to shut up and watch it.
Okay. Well, also, one of the things you asked did remind me of something I had meant to mention. So the whole thing with during his previous life, Dan Heng being exiled. Specifically, he was exiled for trying to basically resurrect someone from the dead.
Right.
The person he tried to resurrect did not come back. I'll come back around to that in a second. But, the little Vidyadhra kid I showed you before, this one, is technically his successor as the High Elder, so to speak, even though technically she's a kid of the Vidyadhra. She is also very heavily implied to, in some way or another, be a product of his attempts to bring someone else back from the dead.
Interesting.
Like, somehow have been made by his, made by him somehow while trying to do that.
Interesting. So, I'm guessing the person he was trying to bring back did not have the regeneration.
No, the person he was trying to bring back was a Foxian.
Oh, so that's why the Foxians don't like him.
The Foxians have nothing against him. It's only the Vidyadhra that don't. Fei Xiao in particular is cautious of him just by virtue of him having been an exiled criminal for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
And
so
she's
who was this
like
weird
a head of
werewolf guy
government.
Sorry.
Say that again. Sorry.
I mean, that makes sense. Who's the werewolf guy? I didn't mean to talk over you. I'm sorry.
Someone who literally was mentioned for the first time in the entire game during their conversation.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I hadn't missed something somewhere. All right.
You did not. He is. You remember, back at near the very beginning of this quest yesterday when I fought a couple of werewolf guys. I guess
Sorry,
that's
you
a
broke
no.
out. What?
Back at the... I don't actually know if you were here yet or not. But back at the very beginning of this quest when I started it yesterday, I fought a couple of werewolf guys. And, basically, all the information I have is they are some kind of who knows what that the Foxians in particular have beef with. Is the only information that I have as of now.
Okay.
And the one in particular that the two of them were talking about is a big deal for some reason.
I mean, yeah, it seems like it.
I mean, I think the particular one they were talking about is also the big dude that Yunli beats up in her character trailer that I showed you last night, so... Although that might have just been to have something for her to fight in the trailer.
It's an honor to learn from you, Master Yanqing. Oh, in all those immersions and novels I watched, When apprentices want to pay their respects to their masters, they usually bring fancy gifts, kneel, and bow. I'm really sorry, but I haven't prepared anything yet. Hey, why are you blushing, Master Yanqing?
This is, the first time someone has called me master. I need to, get used to it. Ahem. Let me make it clear. Swordplay training is about improving your body, mind, and strength. It's not a casual game you can master overnight.
So, this is a really, really weird question that only matters in the context of fiction in which different races of people have wildly different lifespans. So you'll have to bear with me a bit. Would you consider age to be more a matter of how many years a person has lived, or more a matter of what's the word? What fraction of their total lifetime that they've lived? Does that make sense?
I'm trying to just think, because there's so, like you said, something like there's so many like different ages and lifetimes and all
like,
that stuff.
Technically speaking, Yanqing's total lifetime would probably be around 800 years old.
Yeah.
But like if you convert his age, to normal human years, he'd be around 14. Okay. But his age in actual number of years would be in the hundreds, basically.
I think I would just stay with
would you consider him to be older than March because he has technically lived more years than her, or younger than March because he has lived a smaller part of his total lifetime than she has of hers?
I mean, it would be older than March because of the actual number of years. But in terms of, like, is he still young or not, whatever, I would convert that into the lifespan of what he is. Like, in the
at the very least,
kind of
by
aspect.
the standards of the Xianzhou, he's seen as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's a really hard, like, issue.
Like I
so
said,
I guess
it's
it
something that really
on,
only matters in specific fiction niches. But it's also interesting to think about.
I think it would just depend on, like, who he's talking to at the time. And, like, whatever, like, wherever he is. Because, you know, yeah, like, right now there's, like, the conversation or whatever. He's definitely older. But then talking to someone else, he would be seen as, like, a child. So, like, I think it really depends on who he's talking to and what, like, race or, like, lifespan that person being has. So I think it's really dependent on the situation.
Yeah. And like Star Rail as a whole kind of seems to lean more towards age as a fraction of total lifespan. Because like on the one hand, sure, his age is probably 2 or 3 times March's age, at least. Right. Probably more like 4 or 5 times March's age. But he acts more like a kid than March does.
Yes. Yeah.
So, like I said, the game really seems to lean more towards age as a fraction of total lifespan than age as a number of years lived.
Yeah. That's true.
Which, I guess, it makes sense from a writing perspective, just because if you're thinking about... If you have to stop and think about what would a person be like if they have the mind of a child, but the lived experience of an adult, that starts to make things really hard, like characters really hard to write. And actually, like, that's a kind of character they have written before in Genshin. But it'd be kind of difficult to have to write, like, an entire culture of people like that, I guess. Without making that their entire character.
Yeah.
If you ever want me to not obsess over weird writing minutia, feel free to let me know. It's just the kind of thing that I tend to notice and talk about a lot. That and game mechanics minutia.
No, like I don't care. If I'm lost, I'll either tell you or just be like, you know what, it's fine because I don't mind just listening.
And defeat at least one opponent. I'll do my best, but if you break your master's rules...
Is it too late for regrets? I'm already regretting my impulsive decision.
Honestly, I'm not sure what I'll do either, because I've never been a teacher before. So, Miss March, please behave and don't skip classes. Or complain.
You need to toughen up and train her properly, Master Yanqing. Don't go easy on her.
You're so heartless. By the way, where's Yunli?
I've found a quiet spot in the back garden of the Palace of Astrum for our first lesson together.
Oh.
Seriously? It's the first day and you two are already late? Why is everyone on the Luofu so laid back? So disappointing.
Master Yunli, you're already here. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
Oh, wait. Were you trying to teach her in secret? That's sneaky.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just showing you what Luofu etiquette is all about. She might be my apprentice, but it's customary for the master to personally escort their apprentice to the place of learning. As the host, I'll be teaching Miss March the essence of Luofu swordplay, after which she'll emerge victorious in the war dance ring. You won't be complaining about Luofu swordplay then.
Stand aside, rookie. Let me show you how we Zhu-Ming sword masters treat their apprentices. Quickly, over here, Miss March. This is a reverse mentorship gift from me to you. I hope you put it to good use.
What's this? Xianzhou clothing? It's so beautiful!
Sword practice requires precise movements. This outfit is tailored to fit perfectly and allows for smooth movements. I even added some small accessories. I put a lot of thought into it.
You're awesome, Master Yunli!
See? See? How can you compete with me? I'll teach March 7th the essence of Zhu-Ming swordplay so she can win the contest with my sword skills.
Actually, I've prepared something too.
Huh? You have a gift for me too, Master Yanqing?
Since you want to learn swordplay, Miss March, you'll need suitable weapons. So, I went out of my way to prepare a pair of swords overnight. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to ask the craftsman to customize the swords for you, but I did my best to choose ones that look nice and are suitable for a beginner. I hope you like them, Miss March.
Thank you, Master Yanqing!
Bet you didn't see that one coming, did you, Yunli?
Oh my gosh.
The real competition is just getting started.
I'm so lucky to have two great masters. But why does it feel like things are getting a bit weird?
Okay, the one thing about March, she will not hesitate to call out their BS.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great.
So what do you think,
love her for that.
Yeah, it's like, on the one hand, March is as dense as they come. On the other hand, that is the perfect temperament for this situation.
Yes.
Perfect. I chose it carefully. It's perfect for beautiful young swordswomen like you and me.
All right, let's get started with the training. The person next to me is a Cloud Knight instructor I've brought in. For your first lesson, try exchanging a couple of moves with him.
Wait. We're having actual combat training for the first lesson? Isn't that a bit too intense?
Well, I heard you have some experience with archery and martial arts. The first thing we're going to do is see just how strong your fundamentals are. Come on, step forward and strike with the sword in the most natural way you can think of. It's important for us to grasp your natural movements so we can decide where to start and what you need to learn.
If you're ready, let's begin.
Okay.
Well, I heard you have some experience with archery and martial arts. Come on.
Okay.
Step forward and strike with the sword in the...
All right, let's get started with the training. The person next to me is a Cloud Knight instructor.
Okay, they just repeat the dialogue they had before.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. But please go easy on me.
Then I apologize in advance, Miss March.
So, fun fact, for this update, they actually did give March a mechanical update.
Oh, that's nice of them.
And unlike Dan Heng, who is a separate character and a limited 5-star, you just get the updated March for free.
Oh, nice.
Please have some tea, masters.
Pay close attention, Miss March. Luofu's swordplay is all about being swift and agile in your movements. Strike with heart! Yes, you! Practice is over. Swords descend!
Ignore him. Strength is everything.
Pulverizing sword strike. Like this? 10 of you.
Well done! So, how many of my moves can you block? Blade in flight! Right on time.
Skill, better not underestimate me. That's how a true master does it. With a true heart and focused mind, I'm starting to get the hang of it.
Time for some sword play.
Time to show you what I can really do. Azure Dragon, White Tiger, eating less carbs. What's this?
What are you mumbling about?
Isn't this a sword technique? Shouldn't I be saying something cool?
Strike with heart!
You'll make for good practice. Master, have some tea.
The outcome lies within the self, not this rock-shattering slash!
Yes, you!
Right on time.
Yes, you!
Right on time.
I could take 10 of you. I get it now. All right, check out this move. what you're made of? Pulverizing sword strike! Ha! Skills polished? Better not underestimate me!
A one-time enemy. Blade in flight!
So one thing I will say
moves can you block?
is, and I doubt this is supposed to be reflective of which one wins the whole teaching March how to sword fight thing. I imagine this is just they designed her to synergize with the new 5-star character. But March synergizes a lot more with Yunli than with Yanqing. Because her mechanics are like that she assigns another character you have on the field as her master. And whenever that character does an attack, she builds up a buff.
Yeah.
And Yunli will typically attack a lot more within like a party turn than Yanqing will. Because she attacks every time she's hit.
The sword is like water. It cannot remain still. Strike with heart!
You'll make for good practice. Yes, you! Time to show you what I can really do. Azure Dragon, White Tiger, eating less carbs. What's this?
I love that.
One thing I missed or that I only noticed right after I had hit the button that pulled away from it, her like pre-ultimate, like before the whole animation starts, like her just idle animation when it's active, has like a little like imagination bubble, which is kind of funny.
Oh, I had to make sure I paid more attention.
A one-time enemy. Right on time.
That's how a true master does it. Pulverizing sword strike. Yes, you. I didn't expect the first lesson to be so intense.
Miss March has quick hands and a flexible body. She's a perfect fit for practicing Luofu swordplay.
However, she lacks strength, and her strikes were a bit unfocused. But don't worry, that's totally normal for beginners. Once she starts practicing Juming swordplay, she'll make heaps of progress.
Given the situation, I believe Miss March should start by working on her strength.
Seriously, do you actually know anything about swordplay, or what?
I could ask you the same thing. Dual swords require agility, so what's more important than footwork?
Instead of focusing on her strengths, we should address her weaknesses. The drawback of wielding two swords is not generating enough force. What good is being quick on your feet if you don't have strength? It's not like we're dancing here.
Skilled sword masters
all of
know
that.
how to play to
Right,
their
okay.
strengths and work on their weaknesses. Start with what you're good at, then tackle your weaknesses. That's the right way to learn.
You're quite the theorist, huh?
Theorist? You claim to be able to talk to swords. So what does that make you? A lunatic?
Hey, it's only my first lesson, and you're already arguing. Come on, calm down, masters. I'll have to improve both my footwork and strength anyway, so it doesn't matter which one comes first.
But it does matter. Just listen to me, March 7th.
Aww.
Working on your skills.
Just looking at what she does.
Hmm.
She is really, like, her new class is really interesting. But I've already done all 3 of my weekly bosses for this week, so I can't actually build her.
Oh.
Dear Himeko, Mr. Yang, and Pom Pom, we're all good here on the Xianzhou Luofu, so no need to worry. By the way, how's your trip going?
Look at Yunli's expression.
As for me, I've somehow become the apprentice to 2 Cloud Knight sword masters, and I've been honing my sword skills with their guidance. One of them is Yanqing, the boy we've all met before. The other is Yun Li, the granddaughter of General Hua Yan from the Xianzhou Juming. Both masters are super strict, giving me a real taste of how hard sword training can be. I tried to drag him into this, but he refused. Then I tried to rope Dan Heng in, but Master Yanqing wouldn't have it. Still, I didn't let the difficulty get to me. In just a few weeks, my sword skills have improved a lot. Both my masters think I have unique talents in swordplay, and are literally fighting each other to teach me their skills. Thanks to their guidance, I've actually made some progress. When I get back to the Express, I'll definitely show off my skills and impress you all. Looking forward to your reply. Yours, March 7th.
Well done. Let's call it a day.
Miss March's sword skills are really coming along. She'll hold her own just fine in the war dance.
Just you wait and see. I'll show off my skills in the ring and win a match. I'll make both of you proud.
Can you believe it? March 7th has actually become a pretty decent swordmaster in such a short time. Now I understand why Grandpa always had a grin on his face while training me.
Are you sure he wasn't laughing at you?
Oh, shut up.
It's all thanks to your amazing guidance, Masters.
Miss March, you're really getting the hang of wielding dual swords. If you're keen on advancing, trying out different Xianzhou blades could improve your touch.
Oh, let me see. Which sword is the most powerful? Single sword? Great sword? Or maybe a flying sword?
There's no such thing as the most powerful sword. It's all about the skill of the swordmaster. Yanqing wields several flying swords, while I only wield one. But remember how I kicked his butt at the Alchemy Commission?
First, you didn't kick my butt. Second, you'll never kick my butt. Third, how about we settle this right now and see who kicks whose butt?
Yeah, I'm up for that. And if I kick your butt, you'll drop out of the war dance. Deal?
What the heck? No.
Why are you two arguing again? I thought things had been improving between you lately.
There was talk that the leading disciples of the Luofu and Juming generals were supposed to face off in the war dance, but for some reason, they suddenly teamed up to train an apprentice of their own. Turns out, the rumors are true. Tomorrow is the big day of the war dance. Shouldn't you two be focusing on honing your skills instead of teaching swordplay here?
You're...
Okay, it's not his place to be involved, excuse me.
From the Yaoqing.
Say that again.
It's like not his place to be stepping in here, like, hello? Who's he just to come in here and be like, aren't you supposed to be doing something else?
Technically, he is one of the people that's supposed to be investigating the stuff that happened before. So I could see this being a ploy to try to get information from Yanqing and March.
Hmm.
What are you laughing at? You've got pink hair too. I'm Jiaoqiu, the healer working for the general of the Senjo Yaoqing.
Ah, got it. So, you're the participant attending the war dance on behalf of the Yaoqing. And you were trying to sneak a peek at our training?
Sorry for the misunderstanding. I don't know anything about martial arts. I'm just here on the general's orders to take care of some official business. I didn't mean to interrupt your training. I'll be on my way.
If you know nothing about martial arts, why were you smirking earlier?
Well, my curiosity got the better of me, I suppose. When I heard Miss March's pondering about what to learn, I couldn't help but wander over. From my professional experience, cleavers, slicers, chopping knives, and carving knives are all just tools. Kind of like frying, sautéing, boiling, and deep frying in cooking. They're just ways for people to show off their skills. How you use them really depends on the ingredients you're working with. It's like your sword teaching methods. If you align your ingredient, in other words, your apprentice's natural tendencies, with the right cooking method, by which I mean the teaching method that best suits her, she'll make double the progress in half the time. For example, golden eggplant tastes best when fried, cloud peppers when stir-fried, and yellow boulder beef when simmered. It's all about discovering the nature of the ingredients. Apprentice.
Man, what a wild variety of dialogue choices.
I love that.
All this talk about food is making me hungry. Aren't you a healer? Why are you talking about food?
Well, it's just a metaphor. The medicinal school I follow on the Senjo Yaoqing is called the Ranja School, that specializes in food therapy. So it's only natural that I know a thing or two about cooking.
So, you're the general's cook?
I'm a healer. But anyway, a cook who isn't interested in health doesn't make for a good advisor. Fine. Call me a cook if you want. Seeing the way you're looking at me, it's obvious you think I'm just some feeble academic who likes to blabber on about martial arts. But, in reality, I know a thing or two about killing. After all, the art of healing inherently encompasses both life and death.
Why is this guy suddenly getting all serious with kids?
Do you recognize this bottle of medicine in my hand?
No.
This is called tumble dust, an extract from an exotic flower named Yabra.
Ugh, is it poison?
Well, it depends on how it's used. With just one drop, it's able to numb a patient's body during surgery, making them painless throughout the entire process. However, increase the dose or the potency, and it'll slow the metabolism, making the blood thin and resulting in the loss of all senses. Even long-life species cannot escape its effects. This thing can save lives or take them. It's more powerful than the swords in your hands.
That may be so, but still, I prefer settling things with a sword than, you know.
Huh. Looks like I did get you all wrong. You're not a feeble scholar, but a sinister and despicable one.
Hey, why the insults all of a sudden? I'm just sharing some medical knowledge here, not persuading you to poison anyone.
Seems like you get real excited when talking about poison.
He was trying to make a point,
Can't tell
woman.
if
He
that's
just
an
has a
honorable
bad
thing
way of
or
doing it.
Sinister.
A roundabout
Picture
way, I
this.
guess.
2 individuals.
Look on the bright side.
Is full
He's
of
managed to get
malice.
Yunli and Yanqing to
The
agree
other
on
lying
something.
down is
It's very
honorable
true.
and righteous. How can the one who's lying down label the one standing as sinister? In the throes of combat, where life and death hinge on a singular moment, every idea fades into nothingness. The only thing that matters is staying alive. Surviving the battlefield reshapes all notions of worth, be it integrity or treachery. In my eyes, their significance is negligible.
Perhaps you've underestimated Yunli and me, Mr. Jiaoqiu. We may be young, but we've seen our fair share of war.
Well, then you should know that the war dance is nothing more than a contest. So why are you so focused on it?
When I was appointed as the ringmaster
They want to
for
win the
war
freaking
dance,
contest.
I asked the general, we Cloud Knights are supposed to charge into the fray and slay enemies. Why do we have to swing swords in a ring just to please an audience? And this is how the general replied. To unsheath your sword in a ring is no different than on the battlefield, as your sword reveals the might of all Cloud Knights. The war dance is the perfect chance to showcase martial virtue and forge alliances from all over the cosmos. When we unsheath the sword without drawing blood, we not only display our might, but also the martial virtue of the Cloud Knights.
That's quite an insightful statement, Yanqing. Well, my apologies for being so short-sighted. I've been on the Luofu for quite some time, but I haven't had the chance to see the ceremony venue for myself yet. Hearing you speak so highly of it has piqued my curiosity. Would you mind showing me around?
You want to see the Sky Splitter ship
Interesting.
where the war dance will be held? Let's go! I bet Yunli and Miss March haven't
So
seen
he
either,
is
right?
also like
Well then,
using them
I'll
to
give you all a
show him
tour.
around and get information.
Yep, seems that way.
Yep.
Even before I knew like what his role was in the story, I kind of thought from like leaks and trailers that he seemed pretty sneaky.
Yeah.
Surviving the battlefield reshapes all notions of worth, be it integrity.
Can you believe it? March 7th has actually become a pretty decent swordmaster in such a short time.
Okay, they're just repeating dialogue.
Let's go. I'll give you a tour of the Sky Splitter.
Looks like a lot of other visitors have also come to catch a glimpse of the Sky Splitter.
Well, of course, those people want to see it.
What's up, Mr. Jiaoqiu?
No, it's nothing.
You can't be sneaky with a lot of people around.
Do you see that airship in the distance? That's the Sky Splitter, the venue for the war dance ceremony.
It doesn't look all that impressive from this distance.
The Sky Splitter is actually a decommissioned Luofu military vessel. People aren't allowed on board until the war dance officially commences. Tomorrow, when the bell rings and the ceremonial cannons roar, I'll be there representing the Cloud Knights of the Xianzhou Luofu, standing in the ring, ready to take on challengers from all over the cosmos. Since I was a kid, I've been training in swordplay and the art of war under the general. Every day, I'd swing my sword 10,000 times, and then thrust it 10,000 times, repeating the process over and over. I understand that I'm not like other kids. I never envied the toys and freedom they all had. I never found sword practice boring or hard. Even in the thick of battle, facing down savage abominations, I never felt scared. Each day, I could feel myself getting stronger and stronger, and I racked up countless victories. It's the best feeling in the world. But then, I faced a really tough opponent, and just one slash shattered my confidence into 1,000 pieces. That's when I felt true fear for the first time. Maybe that's what Mr. Zhao Cho meant by life and death hinge on a singular moment. Every idea fades into nothingness. After that, I had to pick up the pieces and try to put myself back together. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't seem to find my old happy self again. I often ask myself, why do I wield my sword? If defeat is inevitable, why do I continue to fight? Is it to reclaim the joy of victory? To meet the General's expectations? Or to secure my honor among the Cloud Knights? While the General could teach me the art of swordplay, he couldn't teach me why I should keep on going. He said the reason must come from within myself. I've been struggling to find that reason. But after talking with you, Mr. Zhao Cho, I think I already have that reason in mind. As a member of the Cloud Knights and the General's apprentice, I've had a weight on my shoulders. And I know there's still more to shoulder. But when I wield my sword, it feels like I'm letting go of everything. I love the feeling of giving it my all, facing any obstacle in front of me, pressing forward. That's why I wield my sword.
Oh, Yanqing. So young, yet so grown up. By the way, how old are you exactly?
Age doesn't really matter. All sword masters will understand how I feel.
I get it. Looks like all the kids on the Luofu live tough lives. So, how about you, Miss Yunli?
It's not polite to ask a girl her age, no matter which Xianzhou ship you're on.
I'm not asking your
Oh my
age.
gosh, it does not matter.
I'm asking if you have a dream like Yanqing has.
You don't talk like a cook. You sound more like a TV host or something.
Need I repeat myself again? I'm a healer.
Well, I don't have a dream like Yanqing does. The only reason I'm participating in the Ringmaster's Challenge is because I made a promise to my grandfather that I'd win the precious sword he's contributed to the war dance.
Sounds like that mind of yours is just filled with swords.
I bet you've got nothing better on your mind.
He literally just had a whole,
father
talk about what's on his mind.
Was a craftsman on the Xianzhou Juming. Because of his foolishness, many innocent people fell victim to the cursed swords he forged. Since I was a kid, it's been clear to me that not everyone deserves to have a weapon in their hands. Giving them a sword is no different than being cruel to the innocent
So, whenever I come across someone unworthy of a sword, I can't help but want to take it away from them. Given that Yanqing is the War Dance Ringmaster, I'm stepping up to challenge him. To ensure the precious sword doesn't fall into the hands of an unworthy master.
Hey, what do you mean by an unworthy master?
I see. It's not easy for kids on the Zhuming either. Well, it's better to have a reason for wielding a sword than to be lost and confused. I've saved countless Cloud Knights in my life, and there are plenty of exceptional warriors, just like the two of you.
What happened, Mr. Jiaoqiu?
Oh, nothing. I was just reminded of some old friends and old tales. Judging from my professional perspective as a healer, both of you possess remarkable vitality. Your energies flow like raging fires and mighty gales. The upcoming fight will definitely be impressive. Well, we've seen the Sky Splitter and toured the Stargazer Navalia. I guess it's time to say goodbye for now.
What? You're leaving already? But you haven't asked me about my dreams. I've been working hard too, you know.
It's getting late, Miss March. Unlike you lot, I'm a grown-up bound by responsibilities and duties. The tasks entrusted to me by the General won't complete themselves. By the way, Yanqing, is it normal to have so many people wandering around in an automated area like the Stargazer Navalia?
Actually, this is a restricted area. But since you're all guests, I made an exception, so you could take a look around.
I understand. Well, I'll take my leave. I wish you both the best of luck in the ring tomorrow.
Seriously? I just spent so much time thinking about my dream, but he didn't even ask me.
Now that we're done with our tour of the Sky
They did not even like bother
shall
asking
we
her either.
continue with our training?
They're like, moving on.
Why don't we take a day off?
What? You want to secretly practice swordplay by yourself?
What?
Dream on.
You know cramming before a fight never works out. For some reason, seeing the Sky Splitter has boosted my confidence. So, I've decided to conserve my strength for tomorrow. All right. I'll take you out of the Stargazer Navalia.
Oh, just shut up, Red Fang! This is not a beast ship. I need some time to take care of things.
You willingly donned the skin of a lowly beast to join this mission, dedicating yourself to our glorious cause. And now you're telling me you can't handle it? Do you realize how many ships we need?
I'm doing my best, all right? It takes time to figure all this out. When the guns go off tomorrow, all eyes will be on it. That'll be our only chance.
How's that? Who's there?
Who are you guys?
An impromptu inspection. Why are there outsiders loitering in Stargazer Navalia? And a bunch of kids at that.
Hey, kids, didn't your parents ever tell you to stay away from the Stargazer Navalia? I know it's an automated facility, but it doesn't mean you can just break in and do what you want.
First of all, I'm an adult. Second, I didn't just break in.
Yeah, we flew here on a star skiff. Like, whoosh.
Well, I'm not trying to tell you off, but this place is off limits to the public, you know?
Big sis, let's go. I want to play in Everhunt Plains.
Huh? Everhunt Plains? Yeah, sure. The big sis will take you there.
Shuha! You should have let me. Shh, the overhaul is done, and everything looks good. We should leave.
Could you repeat what you just said, Yanqing?
What did I say?
Big sis, let's go. I want to play in Everhunt Plains.
Oh, she's dense.
Come on. Can't you read the room?
At least March played along.
Yeah.
Definitely off about the 3 people we just met.
On the one hand, I think she deserves the absolute tiniest bit of credit for playing along, even though she didn't realize what was going on.
Yeah, at least she didn't say
But,
something. I thought she was about to, and I'm like, bitch, shut your mouth.
At the same time, man, she... Ugh.
Right. Right.
Yeah, anyone could see that. I just wanted to hear you say it again.
Okay. Okay.
That pink-haired fox tried to say something. I'm pretty sure he sensed something fishy. Since he's not familiar with this place, he just dropped us a hint. But you didn't seem to be paying attention at all.
I knew that from the beginning.
That Cloud Knight didn't recognize Master Yanqing at all. That's really weird. What? Is he famous on the Lavu or something? Not even the Cloud Knights on the Jumbo,
Okay,
who all know my glorious name, might recognize my face.
Okay, I guess she wouldn't necessarily have a reason to know that Yanqing is, like, the aide to the general that is in charge of the ship.
Right.
Like, thinking back, I guess that was never directly stated in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
You have a point.
A Cloud Knight, a member from the Skyfaring Commission, and a craftsman. They're from various departments, and the reason for the overhaul seems legit. But one of them blurted out some weird language just now. Did you hear that? I have a feeling that if we secretly tail them, we'll definitely catch these guys in the act. Follow my lead, and be careful not to blow our cover.
Never mind who they are. Let's just...
Don't get too close, Miss March.
That's not what I meant to do.
We should have just killed those lowly beasts. Those little brats won't take up much space. There are boxes all over this place. Just dump them into one and no one will notice.
Cut the theatrics, Grulok. Even the slightest slip-up could interfere with Lord Moktok's plans.
So where are we heading next?
To check the freight skiffs. We've got a lot of preparations to do. Also, don't forget to take those crates with you. weapons, supplies. We've got to be well prepared. Otherwise, we're screwed.
So, are they smugglers? What exactly are they up to?
I have no clue, but they seem to be moving those crates. I've got an idea. We can hide inside the crates and follow them.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Ugh, it's so cramped in here. I can hardly breathe.
Just hang in there.
Did they seriously all three pack into a single crate?
Oh my gosh. Yep.
Like, that's not even something you can blame on any one of them. Like,
no, no, they all had a hand in that.
Let's just put the cargo here for now, all right? Then we'll move on to inspect the ships. Lord Moktok said that as soon as we're done, we're to board the freight skiff and leave this place.
Don't worry, I've changed the shipping schedule. You two, come with me.
Is it just me? I keep smelling that stench of lowly beasts everywhere we go.
Don't be so paranoid.
Looks like they're planning to escape on the skiffs in Stargazer Navalia. They keep talking about their plans, but where do they come from? And what do they want to do on the Xianzhou?
Where do they come from? Where do they go?
They're definitely up to something bad.
Where do
Wait,
they come from?
they disappeared.
Where am I
Let's
going?
catch up
Oh,
to
there.
them.
Tread softly, breathe quietly, and make sure to keep an eye on them. Hide out of sight as soon as there's any sign of activity. Watch out! They're on high alert!
Don't be so paranoid. We're running out of time. Get over here! Shuhart, I'm coming!
They're leaving. We should catch up to them. Quickly! Watch out! They're on high alert!
how?
Hmm.
What do you mean?
What are they up to? They're all wearing official uniforms, but I'm pretty sure they're not members of the Skyfaring Commission, the Artisanship Commission, or the Cloud Knights. This is way too suspicious.
Never mind who they are. Let's just film them. That way, if they do anything bad, we'll have solid evidence against them.
Look at this. A freight star skiff with enough room to fit at least 20 of my men. I'll let the others know and have them prepare more star skiffs. Once we're past the checkpoint, there will be beast ships waiting for us. Lord Moktok is ready. The revival of our ancient bloodline all hinges on this operation.
What did he just say? Beast ships?
Who's there?
Oh my gosh.
I told you to get rid of them, but you didn't listen, you idiot! Wipe them all out!
Orson?
Adusa! Die, you lowly beasts!
Pardon my manners.
No dirty tricks, all right?
Right on time.
I want to protect everyone too. Help me, Mr. Svarog!
Yes, you! Right on time.
All in.
Strike while the iron is hot. Pulverizing sword strike!
Looks like I've got a winning hand. Going all in. Tabs on me.
I'm not afraid of you.
I could take 10 of you. So stop!
Stay back, Clara.
Watch your head.
Watch your head.
Right on time. The outcome lies within the self, not the sword. Rock-shattering slash! I get it now!
Stay back, Clara.
All in.
Yes, you!
Stay back, Clara. Stay back, Clara. Target threat index lowered. Hide. Stay back, Clara.
Oh, these are like the werewolf dudes that they were talking about.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, you! Better not underestimate me! Strike while the iron is hot. Pulverizing sword strike!
Stay back, Clara.
Don't ask, just spend. All in.
Gonna show me what you're you're made of? Rock-shattering slash!
How is this possible? How did these Foxians change their appearances like that?
They're not Foxians at all. They revealed their true form. They're Borisin, just like the bandits I defeated on the IPC ship.
Wait, that means...
What kind of trick did they use? When we were tracking them earlier, they looked just like normal Xianzhou Foxians.
It's not just a simple disguise of wearing our clothing and shaving their whiskers. They're somehow able to alter their appearance to be indistinguishable from Foxians. They even have official IDs for the Skyfaring Commission, the Artisanship Commission, and even the Cloud Knights? Let me check this fake Cloud Knight's tag. Maybe it'll give us some clues. Lu Jun, an officer of the Patrol Defense Squad? Wait!
Wait.
What's the matter?
I encountered a patrol officer named Lu Jun before. It was a few weeks ago, when we were transporting the Borisin prisoners. If they can forge official identities and move around the Xianzhou without raising suspicion... Oh no, this is bad.
Even worse. If you find one cockroach on the Express, it usually means...
There are more Borisin hiding on the Xianzhou. I bet their plan is much bigger than just stealing information. We've got to report this to the Seat of Divine Foresight.
I am glad to finally meet you in person, guests from the Astral Express. I'm Fei Xiao, the General of the Xianzhou Yaoqing.
Let me introduce our guest to you. The one dressed in green.
He's the reincarnation of Imbibitor Lune, and the person behind him is the newest member of the crew. I've heard a lot about you. Outside the reports from the Luofu, the Skyfaring Commission of the Yaoqing has also gathered plenty of information about both of you. I've been eager to meet you face to face for reasons that I'm sure General Jing Yuan has explained, right?
Or like not.
Straight to the point. I like it. According to General Jing Yuan's report, the Ruin Legion is to blame for the Ambrosial Arbor crisis, and all Arbiter Generals should pay attention to the Ruin Author's movements. Over the years, the Destruction's minions have wreaked havoc on countless worlds, and the Alliance has been keeping an eye on them. But no one expected them to join hands with the remnants of the Abundance. The damage caused by the Ambrosial Arbor crisis was far less severe than expected, which is good news for us. However, it was quite different from the Ruin Legion's usual style of destroying life wherever they go. While I trust the bravery of the Divine Foresight and the Nameless, I'm curious about some details missing from the report. I'd like to take this chance to have an exchange with both of you. Let me be clear, the questions I'll ask might not reflect my actual thoughts, so please don't take offense if any of my questions seem a bit harsh.
Please go ahead, General. But keep in mind we can only answer based on what we know. And perhaps you already have the answers to your questions in your heart.
You have a clever tongue. I like it.
The Merlin's claw is quite articulate. Right now, her intentions are unknown, and Jing Yuan wants us to be honest. Maybe I'll just stick to the facts we know.
Well, I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do? Let's just make something up.
Let's cut to the chase. Before the crisis struck, the Astral Express was guided here by a Stellaron hunter, a wanted felon, in an attempt to resolve the Stellaron crisis. However, everyone in the cosmos knows of the Stellaron hunter's reputation. So, why did you place so much trust in them? Could it be that some of you have a connection with them?
I mean, yes, but that's probably not the right thing to say.
Oh, yeah, right.
Apart from the Luofu, there are many other worlds suffering from Stellaron corrosion. For example, Eurillo 6, the world that the Express stopped at before reaching the Luofu, was one of them.
To the Express, Stellarons act as roadblocks on the Silver Rail and pose risks to the warping process. And that's why dealing with Stellaron issues is part of the duty of the Nameless.
Ah, I've heard about those problems caused by Stellarons. The Express connects various worlds, so it makes sense for you to take care of this. The cosmos is a mess, and the Trailblazers are just doing their best to fix it. I understand. Let's move on to the next question. The report suggests that Don Shu, the master of the Disciples of Sanctus Medicus, colluded with the Lord Ravager and used the power of the Stellaron to resurrect the Ambrosial Arbor. But here's the thing. Don Shu was just a chief alchemist. Even if she colluded with our enemies and summoned the Stellaron, how did she manage to bypass the Vidyadhara guards around the Ambrosial Arbor? According to the report, Lord Ravager Fantilia is the mastermind behind the entire conspiracy. She disguised herself as an ambassador of the Skyfaring Commission and traveled with you, only to vanish without a trace later on. It seems too convenient to label her as a scapegoat.
We were working with Diviner Fu, and she also witnessed Fantilia's true form. You're not going to doubt one of your own people, are you?
Of course not. We can trust the testimony of Master Diviner Fu Xuan. However, even if she saw it with her own eyes, we can't completely rule out the possibility that she might have been deceived. After all, it's suspicious how the culprit just bizarrely vanished. Oh. It seems that your answers have addressed all my questions. Generals, I am finished with my questioning.
So, what do you think, General Fei Shao? Have the doubts in the report been cleared up?
The two Nameless have been honest in their answers. Even though there are some tricky details, my intuition tells me there is nothing wrong. However, the 3 questions I posed earlier were not just for the Nameless, but for you too, General Jing Yuan. First, the disciples of Sanctus Medicus grew uninterrupted on the Law Fu, yet the 6 charioteers were not aware of it. That was a dereliction of duty. Second, you believed in the Stellaron Hunter's prophecy and entrusted outsiders to solve the crisis, even granting them access to the Plague Mark. That was a dereliction of responsibility.
Oh my gosh.
Third, you insist on holding the war dance right after the Ambrosial Arbor crisis, putting the Luofu back in the spotlight. That is a dereliction of wisdom.
Merlin's Claw. Is this your line of thinking, or the Ten Lords?
From the moment I walked in, I made it clear that the questions I'd ask might not reflect my actual thoughts.
The disciples of Sanctus Medicus were deeply rooted and had been plotting for a long time. I admit it was my negligence for not noticing it earlier. As for the Stellaron Hunter's prophecy, I didn't believe all of it, but in the end, the Luofu did survive the Ambrosial Arbor crisis. So, I think it's safe to say that Elio's prophecy about the future holds some merit. And as for the war dance, do you think I'm unaware of the risks? However, risks can also be opportunities. The Luofu has lain low for too long. I believe it's time to stir up the dregs hidden in the depths and wash them away once and for all.
Just as I expected from our sophisticated divine foresight. You have a way with words. I like it. But, unfortunately, ever since the report was submitted, the Alliance has been filled with rumors and speculation. Even within the Luofu, there are people accusing you of neglecting your duties, resulting in the Ambrosial Arbor's resurrection.
So what are your thoughts on all of this, General Fei Shao?
As a fellow Arbiter General, I fully understand the difficulties of this position. Personally, I think all these rumors are meaningless drivel. Across the sea of stars, the Divine Foresight knows better than anyone else what happened on the Luofu and the meaning behind it. Just as what happened on the Xianzhou Yaoqing recently.
You mean the Xianzhou Yaoqing is also...
The scouts of the Verdant Knights have sent back reports that Borisin are making trouble again. The Borisin packs that were once divided and scattered have started swallowing each other up, forming larger and larger packs. Moreover, there's an entity named Mongus behind it all.
An entity?
According to the report, this entity isn't actually a Borisin. It's a woman claiming to be the messenger of the Master of Immortality. She's described as having 12 faces and 12 pairs of fangs, as cruel as poison, and as elusive as quicksand. The Borisin believe she'll give them a chance to rise again.
That's Ventilia.
That's right. You're lucky that I'm the one who came this time. If it were the Patina Justice or the Seer Strategist, this conversation might not be so friendly. I've always had faith in my instincts, so I don't doubt your good intentions. But the Alliance has its fair share of questions and doubts about the Luofu. So, my plan is to come up with an acceptable answer to satisfy the Alliance.
What's in this plan, General Fei Xiao?
General Jing Yuan, you already know what has to be done. But since you don't want to be the bad guy, I'll take care of it for you. You need the final word from the Ten Lords Commission to quell any doubts. And for that, I'll have to ask the two Nameless to visit the Shackling Prison. No, I'm not imprisoning you. While you're there, I'll ask a judge in the Ten Lords Commission's Interrogation Division to record a detailed testimony with the karmic mirror from both of you. We'll fill in the gaps that weren't covered in the report, and silence any protests within the Alliance.
I'm okay with that.
Your willingness to help is truly heartwarming, youngsters.
Then, as the Merlin's Claw requests...
Oh, there's one more thing. This testimony is for silencing the voices of opposition within the Alliance, but I would like to urge General Jing Yuan to listen to the pleas of the Foxians on the Xianzhou Yaoqing.
So, you are here for Hule.
Exactly. Hule is locked up in the Luofu's Shackling Prison. Since he is the Broodlord of the Borisin, I want to transfer him onto the Xianzhou Yaoqing and imprison him there. The recent movements of the Borisin suggest they're planning something big, so we must act preemptively.
It makes sense to have the Foxians keep an eye on their arch-nemesis. Since you trust my judgment, I'll repay that trust. What do you think about all this, General Huayan?
I was worried this would turn into a heated argument, but it seems like both of you are on the same page, solving each other's problems. I couldn't have asked for a better outcome.
And as for Hule, I'll send my lieutenants Zhao Chou and Moza to check on his condition in prison and ready him for transport. If there are no more questions, shall we get this started?
Well, I'm glad we managed to talk this out.
Do you actually believe in the Stellaron Hunter's prophecy?
Yes, I do. That's why I'm here.
I understand. While words can be deceiving, your gaze, your breathing, and your scent, they reveal more than your words do. I trust my intuition more than any words.
So, something I noticed earlier when she stopped the fight between Yanqing and Yunli.
Yeah.
Fei Xiao doesn't have a tail. She's the only Foxian, to the best of my memory, that I've seen that doesn't have one.
Oh, interesting. Huh. Maybe it got cut off somewhere.
That was my first thought too, especially considering she is a fighter.
Right.
I can definitely imagine it.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Go. No,
I can definitely imagine it being something that the community will theorize over for ages, only for it to turn out to be an oversight, though.
That would be so funny. It'd be like, oh, it was just underneath her jacket the whole time. Here it is.
That'd be funny, but also, like, their tails are not small.
No, they're not.
Where... Like...
Oh yeah, no.
I'm really sorry about all this. But the testimony in the Shackling Prison won't take up much of your time. I'll call for a messenger to take you to the interrogation division. You just need to give your testimony, and then you can head back. So no need to worry.
As you wish, General.
No, I was gonna say I might pop down and chat with the friends who I'm playing Remnant with, so I can get to bed a little bit. I'm gonna say early for a Friday night. I don't know if they want to play or not, but I'll
Honestly,
still be lurking in your channel though.
now that you mention it, this seems like a pretty decent stopping point, so it might be best for me to go ahead and end my stream as well.
Okay.
Because who knows when another stopping point might show up.
Right, yeah, you're gonna get caught in another story arc.
So I think I will go ahead and finish up my stream right here.
Yeah.
And I guess finish this up tomorrow.
Okay.
Hypothetically.
Hmm.